We all naturally want to become successful. We also want to take shortcuts. And it's so easy to do, but you can never take away the effort of hard work and discipline and sacrifice. Apolo Ohno, speed skater, Olympian, gold medalist. He is exactly right. And we just ask you to spend 10 to 15 minutes a day with us every day here at chartingwealth.com, looking for weekly vertical crossovers, 2-day recrosses, looking for trends. We follow trends. And these gold crossovers are the real magic. We've got a great training for you today. It's in the show notes. It's about using all the charts all the time. That is the weekly, the 2-day, and the half-day chart. It explains it. If you're not a subscriber, go to chartingwealth.com, sign up for free, and become a subscriber and get the trainings we put out every day. Also the book, second edition, Charting Your Way to Wealth, for sale. Follow the link in the show notes. Let's jump into these charts. We see stocks are up for the day. Gold is up. Bonds are down. Look how the week ended. The S&P 500 continuing to move up smoothly on that weekly chart, price percent oscillator heading up. Derivative oscillators about flat. And we have a green up candle reaching a higher high than the prior week, going all the way back to the weekly vertical crossover back on the 5th of May. Now we had things top out and then slide sideways and down, but they've taken off again. 2-day chart, we had that 2-day crossover with a jumping in point somewhere around the 318 mark. And how high have we gotten? Well, so far on Friday up to 122.57. Previously on the Wednesday-Thursday candle, 323.04. Did I say one? It's 322.57. And then the prior candle, 323.04. So again, keep your eye closely on what's going on that 2-day chart. Price percent oscillator barely pulling away. Derivative oscillator heading up. Half-day chart up in the morning, further up in the afternoon. And again, we see how the price percent oscillator is about flat. Derivative oscillator gaining some momentum. So keep your eye on all the charts all the time as per the training today. What do we see going on with the NASDAQ 100, the Qs? Well, up for the day, 0.12%, not a lot. We can see that the price percent oscillator's lost a little bit of its upward angle. Derivative oscillator's about flat, green up candle, that's good to see. 2 days where we see the real weakness. Now this is just first day of the latest 2-day candle, but pay close attention to that. It's already busted through the 2-day trend line, and we can see how things are weakening. Again, this candle will finish drawing on Monday. If it closes crossing over going down, that's an alarm bell for you. That and the violation of the 2-day trend line. So pay attention to those things. Still above the weekly, and do keep your eye on the weekly. It is weakening a little bit. We'll see how things go. Look at the half-day chart. It actually is showing a little slowing in the down movement. It peaked in its down movement most recently on Thursday morning, and then has been trying to recover a little since then. So keep your eye on all these charts all the time. That's important though as the week begins. Some weakening in the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 looking pretty decent. Now we go to bonds, down for the day 0.21%. But look at the candle movement moving up. Price percent oscillators basically negative and flat. Derivative oscillator losing downward momentum. The 2-day chart is, of course, losing some of its upward momentum. We can see where things peaked earlier in the week, and really it just hasn't hit a higher high. So maybe the 2-day is going to cross over going down over the course of this next week and give you the ability to jump into a down move and follow suit of the weekly chart. We'll just wait and see. It could be a 2-day recross. Just put that in your notes. Watch, see what happens. Half-day chart. Of course, it is heading down in the morning, a little further down in the afternoon. Hasn't penetrated the 2-day trend line yet, but we do see it moving down. So watch the 2-day chart over the course of this next week. on 20-year bonds. What about gold? Well, it's nice to see gold continuing to move up for the day, 0.82%. Again, hasn't reached the high that it reached the prior week, 170.86, 170.43. Not too far off, but we like to see it reach higher highs. The price percent oscillator is heading up, derivative oscillator gaining upward momentum. We are above the 2-day and the weekly trend lines. On that weekly chart, 2-day chart is struggling to stay ahead of it. Look how flat the price percent oscillator is and the derivative oscillator losing momentum. So keep your eye closely on that as we go into the next week. It's been a decent trade so far. Look at the half-day chart. Again, we can see after a day of down movement previously on Thursday, Friday was trying to correct that, but hasn't gotten as high as it was on Wednesday afternoon. Price percent oscillators flat and negative, derivative oscillator losing downward momentum. So again, keep your eye closely on these charts, that 2-day in particular, as we go into the course of this next week. That's it for our 4 big charts. We do have 3 more charts to review. If you're only interested in the 4 charts that we have reviewed for years, you are done for the day. Thank you so much. Appreciate our new Patreon members. Really appreciate our Accelerated Market Mastery students. I hope you are doing your work, finding your stocks, looking for stocks and ETFs that are chartable, as we talked about. And we've got new training coming out for you next week. Now, let's jump into Bitcoin, up for the day 0.46%, but look at the weekly chart. Price percent oscillator may cross over going down over the course of this next week, so keep your eye on that. On the weekly chart, derivative oscillator's already gone negative. Things have just sort of, after Bitcoin peaked back on the weekend in the 8th of May, it's just really slid sideways, bumped up one time there in early June, but has been tracking down since then. 2-day chart, still negative. We see another red down candle forming, first day of the latest 2-day candle. And that 4-hour chart, maybe a little hope. It didn't go down over the course of the day, sort of stopped after 2 days of strong down movement. So again, waiting to see Bitcoin sort itself out. Are we going to be looking to short Bitcoin? Yes, if by the end of next week there's a crossover going down, you can sure do a practice trade in that. And we'll continue to watch, see what there is to see. What about real estate? Well, the Vanguard Real Estate Investment Trust Exchange Traded Fund, down, up for the day, 1.31%, down for the week as far as the candle goes. We see the price percent oscillator is more than flat. It's trying to head up some. Derivative oscillators positive, but losing upward momentum. Go to the 2-day chart. It's flat and negative. So guess what? Weekly is up. 2-day is down. We've got to see if the 2-day is going to cross over or that weekly is going to move over and go in the direction of the 2-day. One or the other. Until that happens, we don't have a move to take. Derivative oscillator losing downward momentum on that 2-day chart. Half-day chart, we can see up in the morning, a little further up in the afternoon. Price percent oscillator heading up. Derivative oscillator heading up. So let's see what happens over the course of this next week as real estate tries to sort itself out. We see a bit of a down move today, barely 0.17% for oil. We do see the price percent oscillator pulling away from the red signal line. Derivative oscillators lost a little bit of energy this week. Again, not a huge candle, but it did reach a higher high, and the candle body is a little higher than the prior week. 2-day chart, we can see we got a red spinning top. That means indecision tending down. Price percent oscillator is more than flat. It's trying to head up a little bit. Derivative oscillator losing some momentum. So over the course of this next week, really keep your eye on that 2-day chart. If it crosses over and starts to lose energy, then of course be very particular in whether or not you stay into that trade. You can see at the end of the day, after some squirrely movement in the morning on Friday, we saw the price percent oscillator bounce off the red signal line after it had been laminated for, well, really a day and a half, heading down. The derivative oscillator still positive. So we'll see how oil continues to move over the course of this next week. That's it, folks. We're done for the week. Hope you had a great week. Get yourself prepped and ready to go. Take that training on all the charts all the time. If you don't have the book, buy it. If you live overseas, email us. We'll send you. You can't, for some reason, our credit card service won't clear your credit card. But if you'll email us, cw@chartingwealth.com, we'll send you a PayPal invoice. Send your book, autographed copy wherever you are in the world. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.